Hey everyone, hope everybody had a great weekend. Thanks for joining me on June 24th. And as always, we are not financial advisors, and everything you see on here, it's for educational purposes only. Alright, look at BTC. And everything worked out pretty much perfect, right? You know, up here we talked about how, hey, this was our top. We've only dumped back down, which is perfect. Now, when we first touched this right here, when it was like, I think I might have to do one more push. Oh, why did it go all the way back? Let's go back to there. Cool. When it touched this, remember how we talked about, like, hey, you know, the weekend was coming up? Well, it was like, I think Wednesday or so, right? What was it? Oh, no, yeah, it was Tuesday. So we talked about, like, hey, since we touched it, we're most likely going to go sideways and then drop. And if you pretty much look at today, let me just get this out. Look at today. We pretty much went sideways and then dropped. And remember, like I said, if we drop and drop below this, our green zone, it's going to drop back down to the bottom trend line. And that played out perfectly. Too perfect. And the fact that we're below this trend line is a huge win for us, because then we could drop all the way back down to this bottom side. And this is the reason why we have this trend line, right? So everything's actually playing out pretty well. Now, one thing to note is, you know, there is a lot of like support in this area here too. So we might hold here. We'll have to watch it to see where we close today. But if we can close below this trend line, that's a really good sign of us pushing back down. You know, a while back we had this little pattern here. Flip it over. That would kind of give us a hint like, hey, you know, we'd go back up and then we just continue to drop down all the way back down to here. If I can make it a little bit more, match a little bit better, like, you know what I mean? It's like it's playing out almost too perfect in a sense. I mean, obviously we didn't have this big drop down and then come back up into sideways. I prefer just slow sideways, just melting all the way back down to the side. And then we're gonna go down to our target, but we'll talk about that on another video. You know, when we look at our coins, we've hit our target nicely. Everything's kind of going sideways, you know, for what Bitcoin's doing. Look at H-bar. H-bar is so close to our target of 0.05. You know, the main one that we're watching to know, like, hey, when we could be at the bottom, and it's like, hey, you know what? Time to buy back in. We waited for quite a while too. 116. You know, we're almost there. Almost there. And if we think about it, you know, we called the top over here somewhere, and it pushed up a little bit, right? So we've been waiting for like 108 days pretty much. And this is something I always tell people, right? Crypto market is more of a slow and steady race. If you think this is a fast race, you're just gonna like kind of doom yourself in a sense, right? This is why my favorite quote is, you know, time in the market will always beat timing the market, right? When I do my charts, when I do everything like that, like, I'm not trying to time the market. I'm letting the market tell me what to do. This is why I like our count system, right? The count system kind of like tells us what's like happening, not us trying to figure out what it's doing, what happens next. Not like, I let everything tell me in a sense. And this is why like a lot of people, you know, are always trying to like 100% and, you know, trying to time the timing, everything else, and we kind of just let it go. We kind of just take our time, right? There's times where we like, the market goes sideways and it's like we're just here waiting, but look, our patience pays out, right? You know, we're buying, look at where it was a couple months ago versus where it's at now, right? You know, look at Pi, like it was all the way up here, but it was hyping it up. Now it's all the way at the bottom again, right? Same thing with Shiba, like it's all the way back down after it pumped so much. You know, Jupiter is all the way up here, now it's kind of down. This one hasn't dropped a lot, but I mean, AIOZ, a good amount. Like, you know, if you average the, like if you look at the bottom, top, and you average it, it's now down 48%. You know, a lot of these coins are all the way back down instead of, you know, buying them all the way back up where they were a few months ago. Even slow movers like, you know, XRP, we look at the average here, come down, right? You're buying 23% cheaper, which is not bad. On some coins, you're getting way better deals. Right? Link, you know, we talked about like, hey, if you want Link, you want it to buy it at, you know, $9. You don't want to buy it over up here around like $18, right? You're almost buying it double. right? So if we go like over here in the average, come all the way back down, you know, you're gonna get it 50% cheaper. This is why this game is more like a slow and steady, right? You see a lot of people post on Twitter, all these places where it's like, oh man, I got into this one coin and made $1 million. This is why a lot of people like FOMO into like the meme coins, or they're just trying to get lucky and like nail it. But it's super hard because it's, you know, a lot of times people do get into meme coins. They ride it all the way up. They always ride it all the way back down. Always ride it all the way back down because they overstay, you know. And then if you get out, you made 10x and then it pumps more. Everybody jumps back in and then it dumps on them, right? It's like that same repeating, you know, cycle that everybody gets into, that this group has learned to stay away from, right? Like we don't follow none of the hype. All this area right here, people are like screaming like, oh, Bitcoin's gonna go to 100K, everything's bullish, and I'm like, nah, I think that, you know, this is our top here. We'll probably just go sideways and dump. This is more sideways than I expected, but I'll still take it. You know what I mean? And I still see it coming down to this trend line here. So that's the thing about like the whole market, is you got to be very careful like how people can make you, you know, FOMO into too many things, and then, you know, and not even help you like take profits, right? Not even teach you how to like actually take profits, because it's probably one of the hardest things to do. And that's kind of like the one thing that's going to wreck a lot of people this next bull run. Like if you think you're prepared for the bull run, I'll guarantee you right now, you're nowhere near prepared. Even I'm not somewhat prepared, right? Like I'm going to have to go. Luckily we have our system that kind of like tells us ahead of time. Like, hey, it tells us like, hey, it's time to go. Because remember, we always get out like at the 80% mark, right? We get out and it still goes up, but we know not to go back in, because that's how like this market tricks you back in, right? You jump out, you jump back in, and you get dumped on, and you sell, then it pumps, and then you buy back in, and then it dumps. That's what they say. It's like it's a whole emotional roller coaster, which is very true, right? Imagine people like, you know, when it dumped, they sold, then it starts to pump back up, then they buy it, then it dumps back down, then they sell it, then it pumps back up, then they buy it, dumps all the way back down. And now they're mad because it's like this whole time while we were just sitting back, relaxing, not stressed, not, you know, wondering what's going to happen next. We're just sitting back and letting this take its path. You know, we know how to like play this game now, right? Everybody knows like slow and steady is always going to win. It just always is, right? If you have that fast mentality of like, I need to get rich now, like, I'll see you in the next bull run, right? Kind of a thing. And we'll be, you know, you'll be seeing all these other people saying, oh, they're buying like this and that with like 20 and 30,000 K, and you're over here buying $200 worth of cryptos, right? This is why I tell people, like, you know, if you're not in a group, right, whichever group, you know, everybody follows, that can keep you grounded, that group is gonna make you ride that bear market all the way back down, right? And trust me, I've learned this by experience. I've followed a few people that like completely failed us. They hyped us up, completely dropped the ball on us. We rode it all the way back down. I almost rode it down twice, but I knew to like just leave that area and be like, you know what? And I warned that area. I'm like, hey, I was telling everybody over there, like, hey, look, I think we're at the top. We've been bullish for a whole year and a half now. I know y'all think it's about to just get started, but it's been started for a year now. You know, all these coins are up like 30, 40, 50x. Think we're done. While it's, you know, while people are still hyping up, like, hey, you know, Shiba at $1. And it's like, no, I think it's already done. It means like you have to be like humble and grateful for like the money you get. Like, right? Like if you don't get $1 million, but you get back like 400K, still be grateful, right? You know, there's a lot of people that aren't really planned for this bull market. Like they're not planned, like, and they haven't planned anything. And I'll tell you this, plan ahead, right? Plan to sell at a certain price, a certain amount. Don't just, let's see what happens. Because I'll guarantee you, if you play that, let's see what happens, without having some sort of plan, you're going to ride it all the way down. Like we're, you know, like we'll say like, okay, we're going to wait to see once we're there. But we still have plans on the way there, right? We have our bull market target where we have a list of coins of like, hey, if it reaches these prices, you know, like before, we might want to start selling. Right? because at least an idea of like when timing is going to be for the end of the next bull run, if the cycles keep repleting themselves. So we have a few things in place to help us plan for that, while we just kind of like wait for it to happen, right? Because there's no better feeling than just sitting back and watching your money grow, instead of having to like figure out like, oh, what am I gonna buy? This person says this person says that. Oh, let me buy this. Oh, it just dumped on me because this person kept hyping it up and I fell for it. Like, you gotta be able to remove a lot of that noise. And this is why I like my room to be kind of small, right? Like, I don't like it to be too big. There's times where it fills up and it's full, because I don't want too much noise of people posting like, this person says this person said that. Like, that's too much noise. I remember back in the day, they used to tell me that like, oh yeah, no, you need to have like all kinds of information. You need to know about this. You need to know about that. No, it's not. I have zeroed out everything. I only follow my own stuff, nobody else. And guess what? For the last let's look back here. For the last, what's my thing? So from today all the way back down for like, well, we were like right here when I started telling people we're at the top. So if I move this up, for the last 920 days, I have been more accurate than anybody else because I ignore everybody else. Right? I've learned like, look, I'm just going to follow my own stuff. No more following anybody else's stuff, because it's like, it just causes more noise. You know what I mean? Now, there's certain things like if you're in astrology, you follow other people because you kind of learn from that. I've been blessed to like learn this count system to where I don't have to rely on like, traditional TA, because believe it or not, traditional TA is just something that I feel is like totally bogus. Same thing with the ICT. Like, I hear a lot of people talk about that ICT and stuff like that and like how great they're doing it. But then I hear that those same people are missing their calls left and right, getting people wrecked, making people, wait for lower when we were buying. And then guess what? The market's all the way up now, right? And they're probably saying right now like, oh, sell, when we're about to say buy again. So this is like, why I'm blessed on that part, because I don't have to like deal with that. But even if I didn't have this, eventually I think I would have learned to like, you know what, let me just do my own TA. Whether even if it's regular TA, I probably wouldn't be as accurate, but still somewhat accurate, because I would get rid of so much noise, right? If you follow like 30 different people, you gotta need to figure out who's accurate and just zero them out, right? You gotta just make sure you clear all that stuff out. Also, be careful of people who just throw random calls out there. And there's a lot of people that do that. And if you're wondering what random calls are, let me see if I can find one that's like empty. Let's erase all this. This is the stuff I hate when people do this, right? And I'm going to be upfront. A lot of this stuff can be woo-woo. And this is what they do. They'll call a target here, and then one really high one. And then they'll also give you a lower target and a lower one, right? And they'll say like, hey, like, this is what I saw in my visions. I messed it up. So let's go here. There you go. So let me click this. So, the market will be playing, and they can hear my clicking sound. Sorry, right? The market will keep going. It'll go sideways. And then we just move these targets. Remember, these targets are still here. And they'll like mask it too. They'll tell you like, oh, like market caps high, give you some like high market caps, low market caps, Bitcoin dominance, alt dominant. Like, they give you like, they'll mix and match, but literally what they're doing is giving you like higher and lower targets. And at this point it's like, well, it's gonna eventually hit it, right? Right? Like, now they can, and then they'll go back and be like, look, see, this target hit. So now they're accurate because one of their calls hit. Guess what? The second one hit. So what do? They keep these targets up here, and then they'll just throw out some new targets. Oh, look, I got some more visions, and they're lower visions, right? I remember a lot of people do this stuff, which kind of annoys me because it tricks people, right? They keep going up. And remember, because and the funny thing is, you can, if if you stop and pay attention, you can realize and see their targets and be like, wait a minute, you have high and low targets over and over and over. So of course you're going to be accurate. Look, now my target's about to hit again. Guess what? My call that I made from over here, it hit. And this is where a lot of people are being scammed, and a lot of people do this on the woo-woo side. Some traders too. There's some few traders that are like constantly throwing out. Like it's just going up, then you just wait. And again, and then the best thing about it is too, every now and then they'll give you like a super high crazy number to get you excited. You're like, heck yeah, Shiba $1. Heck yeah, I'm gonna buy a bunch of Shiba. You know what I mean? And then it keeps going. Finally, we hit this target. And guess what? They're now accurate again because they nailed it again. But in reality, like they just threw all these things and they don't know which way it was. But they know it's gonna go up or down either way. So the fact that I'm giving you higher and lower targets, you know, I'm always gonna be right. Right? Then you draw another one here. You move these out here. Right? The targets and stuff like that. Keep going. Oh, guess what? We just hit our target. Oh man, see how accurate we are? Ain't nobody better than us. And stuff like I see these all the time, and it actually annoys me because it's like you make so many calls, and you know of course you're gonna be accurate, right? But they don't go back and like be like, oh, I missed these. They're just like, oh yeah, like they're just forgotten. As in with us, you know, like let's say if I come over here, let's do Sui. Right? We'll go all the way back here. I'll go to the second one where we first did our numbers. How far do I have to go back? This is a long video, sorry, but if you, this is like things you got to learn, right? Because this is the things that, like I mentioned, these are things you have to like learn to like push away, or else you're gonna ride the bull market all the way back down again. So like, you know, March 14th, I gave out these targets, only one target. And I told people, look, because of these targets right here, because of these, all these need to drop back down. This tells us the market is still bearish, right? When we did our charts, like, look, I have this lower target, and all these alts are telling me that we have to come back down, right? And if we jump all the way back to where we're at now, this is yesterday, right? Look at all of our targets hit perfectly. There wasn't, you know, I didn't like say osmosis, you know, 50 cents, 145, $7. I didn't say rose, 10 cents, 15, 85 cents. I didn't give you like higher and lower targets, right? I didn't give you none of this stuff. Like this is just BS that tricks a lot of people. And the part I hate is these up here, like the crazy call ones, because this, even though like you're being fooled by this up here, this is what's really screwing everybody up. Because these are just random calls on random coins. And like, again, and then when it comes to like, you know, on the trader side, you'll know soon if they're accurate or not. But like the woo-woo side, you won't know this person's accurate until like 6-7 years from now. Imagine having to wait 6-7 years to find out that they were scamming you the whole time. When in reality, you can kind of see it earlier. If you're getting all these if they're always throwing out random prices and it's not going there, you're being completely screwed. Right? And opposed to like a call that I would make would be like this. We'll go back to this. Right? As opposed to this where I'm like, hey, look, we have to come back down to 6. Even if it goes up, don't buy it because we have to come back to this. Right? These are just trend lines, so don't think these are targets. It'll be just one simple target. That's it. No call, no targets above, no targets below, just one target. Sometimes we'll have two, right? But that means like there's two that we need to drop down. That's like more confidence that we're going to come back down. But there'll be like one way, right? We went up, and even though we went up, even though the whole market's going up and everybody's going crazy saying, oh, look, it's so bullish, we still wait. And it takes a while, right? Then we had a nice big drop. We still didn't buy. Still like, you know what? I know we just had a big drop, but we're still going to wait. We're going to go sideways. Right? Anytime after a big drop, we always go sideways upward and then drop back down again. Right? And there we are. right? Like, so on some coins we might have two targets. Well, there'll be like another one down here, and let's say there's another one here. Oops. But that'll be like on the same path and right there, and we stick to those. We never change our calls, right? And that actually brings back another thing. So what coin was I under? Let's go all the way back. Another thing that these people do that kind of really annoy me, because again they're just tricking people, is when they I don't even know if I have an empty chart. Yeah, we'll do this. Is whenever like the market is bullish, so we'll go here, right? They'll post again, they'll give you a bullish target, a second higher bullish target, right? And then like again our little bearish target. But as soon as they see that it's bullish, then they'll start giving you more bullish targets, right? Oh, like, and then they'll give only bullish targets, right? But they'll leave this one here just in case if it drops. And then again, they'll keep giving you bullish target, and eventually, it doesn't stay bullish, and it starts dropping back down. Then they're like, oh, wait a minute, bearish target. Oh, I just got word that we also have bearish targets. Actually, let's make this make sense. Again, I do apologize. This is a long video, but this is an educational video, so you guys don't get screwed by these type of influencers. So down here, so we'll do that, right? So as soon as like the market like goes up or down, they'll keep waiting. So this technically already hit, right? They're so accurate. Look at all these targets hit. Keep playing it. Oh, it hit that. So now I'm going to give you another bullish target. Oh, I got to use these. We'll say that hit there. Oh, the market is bearish. Uh-oh. Let me give you a second bearish target. Because now if it drops a lot, I nailed two of my calls. But in reality, you're just getting played. So if the person you're following does this kind of stuff, if you see that they're always posting higher and lower targets, they're always going to be right, and you're always going to be fooled, because they're going to always be right no matter what, right? This is why like I hate people who do this, because they're just tricking a lot of people, and a lot of people don't even care about you. They'll act like they do. I'm one of the only few rooms that actually cares about the people and make sure, hey, you're not getting scammed. This is why, like in my videos, I have to repeat myself like 20 times so I know people actually get it. Now, this video is like 23 minutes long, so if you made it this far, I hope this is like useful information to like get you out of these loops of like these people you follow that are just tricking you, and you find a group that will keep you grounded and make you successful and help you get out, at a really good price on your coins in the next bull run, and you don't ride it all the way back down.